Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Out here with my little pug. Yeah, doing a recording. Say hi, Milo. How you doing, buddy? Oh, he's a bit skittish. We're outside, so if he sets to barking, I apologize in advance. I think the thing that's got me knackered today is just we can't seem to get our heads around climate change. Like, I'm sitting here. It's mid-October. Right? I'm wearing my toque, but I'm actually doing that mainly because my hair is a disaster today. And I don't care to share. It's like summer out here today. You know, I was outside earlier when the sun was really shining, and people were walking around shorts and t-shirts again. You know, it was like it was summer again here, and everybody was walking around. And I would talk to people, and they would say, "Oh yeah, it's summer again. Isn't that nice? It's like a nice little return, a nice little, before we go into winter and all that kind of stuff." And it's as if the reality of climate change is just not being spoken about. And if you do speak about it to somebody, they're just going to shuffle their feet and be like, "Oh yeah, okay. No, okay." Like, I think this is the most shocking thing about living in this period of time, and that I think is worth articulating, is I didn't expect this level of what I have to call inept, gullible complacency. I truly did not expect it. Like, when I was growing up, I was always given the impression that we leapt into action against forces, existential threats that were attempting to destroy us, right? I was always under the impression that the Nazis showed up and were doing great evil, and so we mobilized and restructured our economy in order to actually fight back against these things. Oh, I know, buddy. I know. He's such a little cutie. Some people walked by. Yes, I know. Scary people walking by. Burf, 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 burf. Isn't he just the cutest, though? My little vigilant watchdog. So, like, Milo leaps into action, right? He perceives something to be a threat. He leaps into action. He's dumb, but, it seems built in, right? We have gone almost the exact opposite tack, it seems. And as I'm getting older, I'm beginning to see more and more that, no, we don't leap into action. And no, we don't do the right thing. And no, we really do have to be dragged in to actually doing the right thing to help anybody. And this climate change issue, in my view, is completely indicative of it. Like, we are still dealing with people who deny that it's a problem. Like, this is where we need to be going, and this is where I certainly go, and I have absolutely no problem taking heat from people, but conservatives are evil at this point. Like, if you're voting conservative, you're voting for one of the most evil organizations that's ever existed on the planet, without a doubt. Like, and I include Nazism in that. Like, we're talking about people who know, like, big oil companies know about climate change. They've known about climate change since the 70s, right? They know all about it. They know that they are the main cause of climate change. They understand that. And they are simultaneously funding organizations and groups to deny the existence of climate change and to deny that it is actually a problem. This is an act of radical evil, as radically evil as any sacrificial death cult in human history, as radically evil as any fascist organization that's ever existed. Like, to literally know and understand what climate change is doing and the effects that it's having, by your own scientists telling you, and then to go ahead and create propaganda campaigns in order to pretend as though something else is happening, and then to fund political organizations and to get the support of political organizations in order to continue going along with this obviously false narrative that you're perpetrating. It's demonically evil. Like, and it requires a kind of, like, you don't even care about your own children if you're acting in this manner, right? If you're a part of the Conservative Party, or if you are a supporter of the Conservative Party, I don't really consider you much different than a supporter of Nazi Germany, right? Like, I don't consider you much different than being a member of the Nazi Party. Is that an extreme statement to make? Absolutely, it's an extreme statement to make. Doesn't make it less true, right? The truth of the statement is borne out by the consequences of ignoring climate change, and of not even just ignoring it, right? If they were just ignoring it, that would be one thing, right? Then you could actually create a narrative that would actually say something like, oh, like, the science is actually quite difficult, right? Like, it is kind of like a sci-fi concept. It's something new and unique in our nation's history. You could start putting up those kinds of arguments, right? But they're not ignoring it. They know all about it, right? We have the documents. We know that they know. We know that they acknowledge that it is real. We know, because they keep selling it back to us, right? What's all this greens shit, right? You slap the word green on the side of something and suddenly, oh, well, you care about climate change. Well, you're certainly acknowledging the existence of it. Or I suppose at the very least you're acknowledging my desire to consume based on it. And but the fact that they know and that they're actually moving to obfuscate the conversation, I mean, these people should be tried as war criminals. They should be tried even worse than war criminals, if you ask me, because like, war criminals, that's like crimes against humanity. But what these guys are doing is not only crimes against humanity, but crimes against the entire ecosystem. It's crime against creation itself. In many ways, it's like a theological crime that they're committing. That they're looking at the splendor of creation and actually genuinely asking, how do we destroy that as effectively as possible for pointless and idiotic reasons that result in absolutely nothing. And this is the end result of the American empire, right? Like, as it collapses and as it falls into complete disrepair with an inability to actually resolve any of its problems, the rest of the world will move on. Like, Canada is a fairly capitalist nation, but we do have a streak of socialism within us, right? And as America begins to collapse and as it begins to sort of fracture into its individual states, and as the federal government ceases to have relevance, this is exactly how the Roman Empire collapsed, right? The Roman Empire ceased to be able to prove its worth to the individual provinces. And so the individual provinces and the Roman Empire stopped being able to administer on the fringes of its borders, and then not so fringes of its borders, and then in totality, the federal nature of the Roman Empire simply ceased to be important or hold relevance to the provinces. They couldn't enforce anything. They couldn't get anything done. Why would you pay taxes to such an organization? And once you can just stop paying taxes to them, once you can literally just say, like, you're not a worthwhile enterprise. And the American Empire is already there, right? People are putting together, like, all of my taxes are being used to bomb children in other nations. That's what American taxation is for, right? It's not for social services, it's not for anything, right? It's for literally bombing people. And eventually, like, individual states and individual places will just start saying, well, you know what? We're just not going to pay these taxes. Why would we? For what? To bomb children in nations we'll never see? or visit so that you can, steal their resources? Like, we're in this, like, staggering period of absurd stupidity. Absurd stupidity. Like, literally you can have, like, the hottest day on record, year over year over year. You can have the hottest month, the hottest year over year over year, and people are just like, oh yeah, let's just get rid of this straws. Yeah, that'll do it. We'll get rid of those straws. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, buddy. A leaf blew. A leaf blew. My ever vigilant pug. Ever vigilant, waiting and ready for danger that will not manifest, and there is none. I live in the beaches. I mean, there certainly is an existential threat going on, but you can't handle that. Your threat is like little squirrels. He wants to make sure that little squirrels aren't gonna get him. And I think it's past time that we stop softballing the conservatives. Like, conservatives are evil. Voting conservative in this next election or in any election for provincially, for any municipality seat, for anything. If they're wearing that conservative sign, you're voting for Nazis, as far as I'm concerned. You're voting for people whose stated agenda, and you can just take a look at what's going on in Alberta with the healthcare system, is to dismantle the civil society through the privatization of social services, is to dismantle any kind of rational system or institution to actually fight back against climate change, thereby ensuring the maximum amount of damage. And it really is going to take some of these sociopaths, like some of these supporters, and some of them aren't sociopaths, right? They're just deluded. It really is going to take food shortages. That's what it's really going to take. It's going to take some kind of mass-scale famine for these, well, and I shouldn't say it's when. I mean, it is a matter of, I shouldn't say if, rather. It is a matter of when now. Like, we've so dropped the ball, and we're so behind the 8 ball, and we're so unable to respond rationally to the problem that's in front of us, and we're so unable, and we so want the capitalists to still be part of the conversation, even though they've proven that they're sociopaths, that even though they've proven that they're not interested in the survival of the species, even though they're not interested in the survival of even their own families, right? Like, these sociopaths are the kind of people who are going to build, like, underground bunkers and fill them with, like, all the food to feed their future families and generations, and then abandon the nations, right? Like, that's probably their plan. Because and once these food shortages begin, right, then it's far too late, right? I mean, I feel like when the reports keep coming out and people keep saying, like, oh, we've only got 7 more years, or we've only got this much time. I think it's done. I think it's a done deal. I do. I think it's locked in. Like, even if we began to pull back now, I think that it's far too late. The damage has been done. We would need to rededicate our society not only to just getting rid of fossil fuels, like, not only do we need to stop producing carbon, but we need to start creating carbon sinks, which would require a massive forestation program. Basically, we need to have vision, right? Which we don't have, because all our visionaries are working at Starbucks. And we don't have any people in our society who are willing to stand up and actually say, like, no, we need to restructure our economy into a war economy to fight climate change. We need to incarcerate all the capitalists. We need to take all of the hoarded wealth that they're withholding for people, to force them to work at places like Lush, right? To force them to work at idiotic coffee shops and moronic little doodad shops and things like this. And we need to refocus the entire economy into resolving this climate change issue, right? But our society is a society of sociopaths, right? That's how it's structured. We reward sociopaths. We don't, and so it makes sense that one of the major parties would just be completely evil and totally sociopathic, and we can't let these guys off the hook, right? We can never let them off the hook, as far as I'm concerned, right? The entire Conservative Party should be tried as traitors to Canada, as far as I'm concerned, right? That's where I'm at with these people. If you're willing to stand up in front of me and softball climate change and pretend like it's not an issue, I think you should be incarcerated as an incredibly dangerous person. And that's where the Conservative Party is at. And so I don't understand. And of course I get pushback. And the pushback I get is, oh wow, you're being so hyperbolic because you're having a minor disagreement, or you disagree with them. So I don't disagree with them. They're drowning children, right? They're executing people. As far as I'm concerned, the starvations that are going to come are on them, 100%. There is no one else to blame. You don't embark on a decades-long denial project and then suddenly get to wash your hands of the consequences. And just because the problem is huge and large doesn't mean that it's not big. Okay, I think I'm gonna go, guys. Bye.